Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Short Commute. This is the podcast for people who don't have much time on their hands. My name is Nick Griffith. I am your fearless, well, I do have fears, but I'm your host of this show today. We've got a good one for you. There's a good chance you know that track that's Yankee and the Brave by Run the Jewels. I've got Tiff Hoke from Two Birds Financial Coaching on today. It's tax season. This is going to be great. She's going to tell you a little bit about what she does, but she's also going to give you some finance tips here and tell you a little bit about maybe some common myths that people maybe misunderstand about personal finance. Yeah, and Tiff really knows her stuff, so I was glad to have her on this podcast. So I booked an acting job recently. Can't tell you much about it yet, but I'm excited. It's kind of a silly one, so I'm looking forward to being able to share that with people. I don't know when it's going to be. It could be months. But believe it or not, I will make sure that you hear about it. Yeah, I got a show coming up at Casey's Irish Pub on February 26th in downtown Los Angeles at 9 p.m. That's with the world's best laugh. She's throwing that show. I'm excited to do it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing it. I think you guys would too if you come and see me. That'd be awesome. If not, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. I understand. We're adults. Things get busy sometimes. You can't keep score. So coming up next is our guest interview. This is Tiff Hoke from Two Birds Financial Coaching.
The three things related to your credit score that would be impacted by a credit card. Number one is going to be, are you making the payments on time? So whether you're making the minimum payment or you're paying it off, you want to make sure that you make at least the minimum payment by the due date, because timely payments are a high impact item on your credit score. Even one late or missed payment will stay on your credit score for a few years. So timely payments, number one. Number two, another high impact credit score item is how much of your credit you've utilized. And so if you're, keeping, a small balance compared to how much you're approved for, then that may not be a big deal. But if you're, and this is by percent of what you have available. So if your credit limit is $500 on your credit card, even if you're carrying only a $300 credit card balance, which is not a big amount of money, that's still 60% credit utilization, which is going to really drag your credit score down. So those are the things that you'd want to be thinking about, particular to your credit score. Now, in terms of whether or not you should pay it off, it really depends. I think for most people, paying it off does make sense, right? You always want to have some sort of emergency fund, though, and that's going to be specific to what your expenses are. So I don't have a way, for example, to pay my rent with a credit card. So I would never want to pay my credit card off at the expense of having a month or two of rent, because that's not something I could pay with my credit card. But I think most of the time, if the money's there, you want to pay it off. Another exception, though, would be when I was buying my first investment property. I needed at least a 25% down payment because it was an investment mortgage. My income was high enough that my debt to income ratio was lower than it needed to be. So my debt and bills were not taking up that much of my income. So in that case, it was better for me for a couple months to buy my groceries or my clothes or my travel on my credit card and carry that balance other than the minimum payment so that I could have more money on hand for my down payment. My name is Tiff Hoke. I am a former real estate accountant, and now I'm a consultant doing software implementations and data migrations. And today I'm going to talk about my new project, which is a financial literacy and budgeting coaching business for people who want to learn about personal finance. And so when I was in West Virginia, I was working for a property management company. So I moved to New York and I was working for a developer, owner-operator developer. And then during COVID, I taught myself SQL coding by watching YouTube videos. But I got really good at it. And so I quit my job in 2022, which was like working in an accounting department and helping with acquisitions. And now most of what I do is contract work for real estate companies that are implementing new software. So Two
Oh,
Birds Coaching is kind of like what I'm calling a passion project. Not really
okay.
making money off of it so far. I
Hmm.
don't know if I ever will, but I've taught financial literacy workshops and things um, to Girl Scouts and
Oh,
is part of
awesome.
volunteering with the Junior League and, just among different groups that I volunteered with, mostly like teenagers. Um, but I've also now gained this skill around doing my own kind of bookkeeping and tax prep
Yeah.
as a small business owner. And so Two Birds Coaching is really about trying to give people more financial literacy because my parents are not good with money and they never
Hmm.
had money.
Hmm.
And, so I kind of, did like a write up on the website of like, yeah, there were things that I did because I didn't have a choice. Like I took a payday loan a couple times, not
Oh.
because I thought that was a good idea or because I didn't know how interest worked. Like I have an accounting degree and a business law degree. Like I knew that that wasn't a good idea, but I didn't have a choice.
Nearly one-third of all students enrolled in U.S. institutions of higher education are the first in their families to pursue a degree. But today, only 21% of low income first generation college students complete their degree. 50% of hiring managers reported that even after finishing a 4-year degree, recent college graduates are not job ready. That's where America Needs You comes in. America Needs You, or Annie, fights for economic mobility for ambitious first generation college students. They do this by providing transformative mentorship and career development. This one was brought to my attention by my friend Tiffany Hoke, who volunteers as a mentor in New York. They're also in California, Illinois, and New Jersey. They have a 4-star Charity Navigator rating. Their flagship programs include the Fellows Program and First Gen U. And these are programs that are going to help first generation college students succeed in college as well as life. That's America Needs You, or Any. And you can find them at americaneedsyou.org.
I just started
Mhm.
my job, my car broke down. I didn't, hadn't gotten a paycheck yet. Like if I wanted to have a car that worked, then that's what I had to do. But there were also things that I just like didn't really understand. Um, like I had to figure out on my own insurance, interest, credit cards, things
Ah.
like that. And so it's kind of like, yeah, what can I do to help people have basic financial knowledge that I picked up studying accounting and learning things for myself. Um, and a lot of it too is helping people recognize their tendencies. Like I'm kind of a natural saver. I'm not a
Yeah.
materialistic person, so it's not that hard for me to have a budget. But for some people, it is. For some people, they hold on to money to a fault. And
Mhm.
for example, like letting money pile up in your checking account because you're too afraid to spend it might not be in your best interest, right? So it's like building financial literacy and examining your tendencies so that you're able and are actively making good choices.
Oh.
So I think personal finance is really specific to each individual person.
Mhm.
So if I was to pick one thing that I think is ends up being pervasive, it is avoiding making decisions because of fear or confusion. There's a lot of
Mm.
people who just take the health insurance plan at work that everybody is taking. And I know you had another episode about figuring out what the right one is. Same thing with a credit card, right? Like people are,
Mhm.
they don't feel confident reading the terms and conditions. So they just pick one. Maybe they let money pile up in their checking account because they don't
Mhm.
know if they should buy stock or put money in a savings account. There's people that don't participate in their 401k because they don't feel confident to make the investment decision once they put the money there, or they don't know how much to put in. So they just don't do it. And so I think, everybody's priorities and budget and circumstances are different, but everybody can benefit from really actively researching and taking control of their situation.
Okay. One thing you just mentioned was doing 401ks. I know that and you're specifically qualified to be able to do your own small business accounting. Uh, what, as far as somebody else who might be starting, who might need to do small business accounting, what are some investment options for them? What should they be doing with their money so that they can set themselves up in the future for the long run?
So I am not a certified financial planner. So I think definitely finding an expert helps. But if you're self-employed, there's a special type of 401k called a solopreneur or solo 401k plan. And so I have one. When I started my company, I rolled my 401k from my old employer over to that platform, and it operates just like all of the ones that I've had through work, and it operates just like any other retirement plan that you would get. They give you different mutual funds or bond options that you can invest in. And they do offer, guidance and investment help with that. So, yeah, I would say, a best practice is definitely to keep all your retirement together in one fund. And so if you're becoming self employed, seek out those options that now exist specifically for self employed people.
Where can we find you on the internet? Or what are your socials? If somebody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do so?
So we have a website, twobirdscoaching.com. That's where you can come and register for workshops. You can book advisory sessions. If you're looking to start a business, if you'd like a financial profile, we have software that we use where you put all your information in and we can help you with a budget and some basic recommendations. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Facebook and Instagram as Two Birds Coaching. We're also on LinkedIn, but our website's going to be the best place to go to find out our upcoming workshops and other services.
That was great. Thanks. To coming up next, we have Volcano Choir and Tide Rays. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Short Commute. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you're checking out Two Birds Financial. We got more episodes coming up next week. You guys take care. Do something nice for somebody today. I'm Nick Griffith. You can find me on all the socials at Fake Nick Griff. You can follow the podcast at Short Commute Pod. Have a great week. Bye. Short Commute.